Hi there YouTube, this is the Stormlord with Lush Gaming. I'd like to thank you all for checking this video out, and I'd like to also apologize on behalf of Lush Gaming for us not putting a whole lot of new content out there over the last couple of weeks. As you see, us here at Lush Gaming have been very busy over the last few weeks. We just haven't had time to get together and make videos. So again, I'm sorry for that, but I figured I'd make a quick video about a game that we're playing, or trying to play I should say, as we are learning how to play this game. There's a lot to it, and I'll show you why I say that once the game loads up. But this game is a DCS world. It's a digital combat simulator, and you can basically do anything you want to do in this game. Down here you can see that there's a lot of other aircrafts and vehicles that you can buy for this game. You get 2 of them. This game is free on the Steam Marketplace right now. We're going to go to Create Fast Mission. We're going to be flying the Su-25T. We'll be playing on Russia map. We'll be starting off from the ramp, summer, with slight clouds, time of day, we'll do random. Go ahead and start this game up. Now if you guys would like to learn how to play this game, I will link a video in the description of a guy who does a very good job with his 10-part series on how to play this game, and once you see what I have to show you here in just a minute, you'll realize why it's 10 steps. I highly recommend wanting to play it. But here we go. Briefing on our aircraft, we have our threats. Weather, 29.72 inches of mercury for our pressure. Cloud ceiling at 1,000 meters. We have winds coming from 160 degrees, which is going to be from our southeast south at 1 meter per second. We have 2,000 meter, 5 meter per second winds coming from 243 degrees, which will be from almost the west, say southwest. At 8,000 meters in altitude, we'll have a 2 meter per second wind at 71 degrees coming from east-northeast. The turbulence factor of 0.3 meters per second. We'll go ahead and load this up. Again, it's going to give you your mission overlay. It's going to tell you everything that's going on, any parameters that you set up. Again, your weather and takeoff and departure. Now we'll wait for this to just give it a hot second to load. Wait for this depth of field to come in. And here we go. Now as you can see right off the bat, there is a shit ton of buttons, and yes, you can control all of these. So there you go. That's why there's a learning curve to it. These are the controls for this aircraft. So you're going to want to watch these videos on how to learn. This guy does a very good job at explaining how to start your aircraft, how to request taxi, how to request takeoff, how to take off, how to adjust your trim, how to fly your plane, how to engage on combat. As you can see, we have 2 Su-27s taking off over there in our front of us. Pretty cool, impressive sound with this. The graphics might be a little shaky. My graphics card was having a hard time running this in max settings while I recorded it, so I just dumbed it down a couple parameters so that way I could keep the frames up there for you guys so it wasn't too bad, so I apologize on that. But we're going to go ahead and close our canopy. We will turn on our heads-up display. I also highly recommend buying a flight stick if you are going to play this game. It will make it 1,000 times easier. As you can hear, we have our allied radio up there on the top left. They're commuting with us. You're going to hear this light up red. It's going to be our radar tracker. It's basically just stating that there's radars out there seeking for targets. We're just going to turn it down for now, because there's no point listening to it while I try to explain this game. Go ahead and try and request takeoff here from air traffic control. If I can remember the right buttons to do so. See if we can get permission to start up. Cleared for startup. We will start our left engine. You can see right down. Start up our left engine. I seem to have lost control of my mouse for some reason, so we'll just play through that. I'll be using the number pad to be moving around. As you can see right there, right here we have our left engine. It has reached idle speed at about 3,000. Our light has gone off, showing us that the engine has spooled up. We will now turn on our right engine. You see the right light come on. And right here you can see that each engine has its own dial on our overall performance of our engine. From 0 to 10, 0 being 0% utilized, 10 being 100% utilized. Now this engine is going to spool up, and then it will begin to spool down as well. Alright, so our engine has spooled up. Now we can request taxi. So, request taxi to runway. It will give us air traffic control, will tell us where they want us to move to. Alright, you just saw 2 more aircrafts take off the runway, so we now have been cleared for taxi towards runway 30, which will be facing 300 degrees, which will be northwest. So, why don't we just kind of zoom out a little bit here, see if we can see these runway numbers. I can't see them, but I would imagine that 300 would be down there since that's the direction all these aircrafts are taking off from. So now that we have been requested taxi, we will spool. As you can see right here, our thruster will move. And I have gotten control with the mouse again, so that's great. We want to bring our engines up to about 50% power, and you will start moving down the runway. Remember not to go too fast on the taxiway, because as you turn, you do not want your wingtips hitting the ground. They will have damage taken to them. And your wings can also break before you even take off the ground. So now we're going to start moving down this runway. Or taxiway, my bad guys. So you can kind of see why this game is, why it's going to take some time for us to be able to put videos up on this, because just the learning curve is outrageous, but we're slowly beginning to learn all the controls for this game, so hopefully we'll be able to make some combat videos for you in the near future. So now we're rolling down the taxiway. We will be approaching runway 300. So why don't you guys just go ahead and drop a comment on what you guys think about this game, if you want to see more videos of us doing this. And if you have any questions or anything, go ahead and drop them down there in the comments. Remember to turn your engines down when you come up. W will be your wheel brake. We don't want to turn too fast because we don't want to damage our wings, because you know the plane is only on 3 wheels. Give her a little bit more gas to get down this taxiway here. Now we'll take a look. Doesn't look like we have any aircrafts landing. Nor do we have any taking off. We will double check before we enter the runway. We will also need to request takeoff from the runway as well. So we'll jump back here in the first person view. We'll get all of our parameters. On your top right display up there is your altitude. Top left will be speed. Obviously we're not going 80 meters per second, so that will recalibrate as we get moving here. You have your compass down here. It tells you which direction you're facing, so we will be turning towards 300 degrees once we are on the runway. That will also confirm that we are on the right runway. Now that we are approaching our runway, we're going to slow down our engines, and we are going to stop just before the entrance of the runway. Alright, now we've stopped. We want to look one more time up and down the runway. We do not see anything, so now we can request takeoff. Cleared for takeoff on runway 300, climb to 300 meters at QFE, which is your airport identification name, 729.87. Again, we will check no aircrafts coming in, as indicated by air traffic control, that we are able to enter the runway. So we will line up on the runway now. Since we have been given permission to take off, we can take off immediately after we situate ourselves on the runway. Alright, we'll use W again for a wheel brake. We'll want to, I guess, move just a tad bit more. Line us up perfectly on this runway. Alright, now we are lined up. We are good for takeoff, so we will bring our engines up to about 60% to 70%. We will begin moving down this runway, picking up slight speed before we increase our throttle to full. And that's going to be an issue right there. You can see that there is something wrong with our stick. It should be like that for center. Something wrong with our trim or something. I'm not quite sure, but this might result in a crash. But we're just going to give her some full throttle and see if we can take off. I believe immediately after takeoff, you're going to see this plane dip to the right side and low. As we approach our velocity of 250 meters per second, we will lift slightly back on the joystick. Remember not to go too fast. You do not want the back end of your plane to hit the ground. Now we are off of the ground. And we are taking off. We are gaining altitude. As you can see, we are at 30 meters. Let's go back into our view right here. We are all the way up in the air, as indicated by our altimeter. We will raise our landing gear, and we will stabilize our jet. Go back into first person. You can see that we're inclining at 10 to 5 degrees. Our altitude is at 565 meters. Our speed is 430. We will decrease our power to about 90-80%, as we do not want to reach our maximum velocity here, as it is harder to control. We'll see if we can climb up here to about 1,000 meters maybe. We'll incline at about 20 to 30 degrees. You can see our speed is slightly dropping, so you might want to just give it a slight boost in power. There's a slight triangle, or a triangle right there you can see, which indicates that you are slowing down. Now we are maintaining our speed, and we are accelerating if it is all the way to the right. You will see our altimeter moving. Our incline at just about 15 degrees. And I believe I could have just been hit by a missile. We'll see if I can gain control. It looks like I am missing a wing. And yeah, just like that, just trying to stay afloat, we got shot down really fast. But there you go, guys. Again, the graphics can get bumped up another notch. I believe I'm playing on medium high instead of high ultra, just so that way I can keep my frame rate up there while I record in, you know, somewhat high definition. But there's a lot to this game, as you can see. I highly recommend watching the tutorial videos. Go ahead, leave a comment on what you guys think and what you want to see from us here at Lush Gaming. And again, I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and we hope to see you guys watching future videos in the future. So thank you very much.